The Gobi is a large desert region in Asia. It covers parts of northern and northwestern China, and of southern Mongolia. The desert basins of the Gobi are bounded by the Altai Mountains and the grasslands and steppes of Mongolia on the north, by the Taklamakan Desert to the west, by the Hexi Corridor and Tibetan Plateau to the southwest, and by the North China Plain to the southeast. The Gobi is most notable in history as part of the Great Mongol Empire, and as the location of several important cities along the Silk Road. The Gobi is a rain-shadow desert formed by the Himalaya range blocking rain-carrying clouds from the Indian Ocean from reaching the Gobi Territory. Geography. The Gobi measures over 1,600 kilometers from southwest to northeast and 800 kilometers from north to south. The desert is widest in the west, along the line joining the Lake Bosten and the Loch Nor. It occupies an arc of land 1,295,000 square kilometers in area as of 2007. It is the fifth largest desert in the world and Asia's largest. Much of the Gobi is not sandy but has exposed bare rock. The Gobi has several different Chinese names, including Nan. In its broadest definition, the Gobi includes the long stretch of desert and semi-desert area extending from the foot of the Pamirs, 77 degrees east, to the Greater Khingan Mountains, 116 degrees to 118 degrees east, on the border of Manchuria, and from the foothills of the Altai, Sayan, and Yablonoi mountain ranges on the north to the Kunlun, Altintar, and Kilian mountain ranges, which form the northern edges of the Tibetan Plateau. On the south, a relatively large area on the east side of the Greater Khingan Range, between the upper waters of the Songhua and the upper waters of the Liaoho, is reckoned to belong to the Gobi by conventional usage. Some geographers and ecologists prefer to regard the western area of the Gobi region, the basin of the Tarim in Xinjiang and the desert basin of Loch Nor in Hami, as forming a separate and independent desert, called the Taklamakan Desert. Archaeologists and paleontologists have done excavations in the Nemeg Basin in the northwestern part of the Gobi Desert, which is noted for its fossil treasures, including early mammals, dinosaur eggs, and prehistoric stone implements, some 100,000 years old. Climate. The Gobi is a cold desert, with frost and occasionally snow occurring on its dunes. Besides being quite far north, it is also located on a plateau roughly 910–1,520 meters above sea level, which contributes to its low temperatures. An average of approximately 194 millimeters of rain falls annually in the Gobi. Additional moisture reaches parts of the Gobi in winter as snow is blown by the wind from the Siberian steppes. These winds cause the Gobi to reach extremes of temperature ranging from -40 degrees Celsius in winter to +50 degrees Celsius in summer. The climate of the Gobi is one of great extremes, combined with rapid changes of temperature of as much as 35 degrees Celsius. These can occur not only seasonally but within 24 hours. In southern Mongolia, the temperature has been recorded as low as -32.8 degrees Celsius. In contrast, in Alha, Inner Mongolia, it rises as high as 37 degrees Celsius in July. Average winter minimums are a frigid -40 degrees Celsius, while summertime temperatures are warm to hot, with highs that range up to 50 degrees Celsius. Most of the precipitation falls during the summer. Although the southeast monsoons reach the southeast parts of the Gobi, the area throughout this region is generally characterized by extreme dryness, especially during the winter, when the Siberian anticyclone is at its strongest. Hence, the icy sandstorms and snowstorms of spring and early summer plus early January. Conservation, ecology, and economy. The Gobi Desert is the source of many important fossil finds, including the first dinosaur eggs. Despite the harsh conditions, these deserts and the surrounding regions sustain many animals, including black-tailed gazelles, marbled polecats, wild Bactrian camels, Mongolian wild ass and sand plovers. They are occasionally visited by snow leopards, brown bears, and wolves. Drought-adapted shrubs in the desert included gray sparrows, saltwort, gray sagebrush, and low grasses such as needlegrass and bridlegrass. Several large nature reserves have been established in the Gobi, including Gobi Gurvanzai Khan National Park, Great Gobi A and Great Gobi B strictly protected area. The area is vulnerable to trampling by livestock and off-road vehicles. In Mongolia, grasslands have been degraded by goats, which are raised by nomadic herders as source of cashmere wool. The economic trends of livestock privatization and the collapse of the urban economy have caused people to return to subsistence rural lifestyles, away from urbanization. Large copper and gold deposits located at Oyu Tolgoi, about 80 kilometers from the Chinese border into Mongolia, are being investigated for development as mining operations. The Oyu Tolgoi copper and gold mine, under construction by Rio Tinto in the South Gobi Desert, is expected to begin operation in early 2013, and is the biggest economic undertaking in the country's history. Rio Tinto estimates that taxes, royalties and dividends generated by the Oyu Tolgoi project is expected to add a third to the country's gross domestic product by 2020. Rio Tinto forecasts average annual production of 450,000 tons of copper and 330,000 ounces of gold. And with 1.4 billion tons of reserves and a resource of 3.1 billion tons, the mine is expected to last for more than 50 years. The mine has been and remains controversial. There is significant opposition in Mongolia's parliament to the terms under which the mine will proceed, and some are calling for the terms to be renegotiated. Specifically, the contention revolves primarily around the question of whether negotiations were fair and whether Rio Tinto will pay adequate taxes on the revenues it derives from the mine of grassland overtaken every year by the Gobi Desert. Dust storms, which used to occur regularly in China, have increased in frequency in the past 20 years, mainly due to desertification. They have caused further damage to China's agriculture economy. The expansion of the Gobi is attributed mostly to human activities, notably deforestation, overgrazing, and depletion of water resources. China has tried various plans to slow the expansion of the desert, which have met with some small degree of success, but no major effects. The most recent plan involves the planting of the Green Wall of China, a huge ring of newly planted forests. The government hopes the forests will help stabilize the soil, retain moisture, and act as a buffer against further desertification.